Yeah, so, scrap Chimera.
You were the chosen one. You were sent to destroy expensive decks, not join them. To bring balance to budget, not leave it in darkness. I hate you. I loved you.
What's going on with you guys? TheCaliEffect, king of games here. And if you haven't caught on to that reference, we done goofed. Unfortunately, my prediction for Scrap Chimera inside of the OTS set, preferably as a super rare, didn't come into fruition. I mean, as of recording this video, there's still a small possibility it could be a common, but I'm not gonna die on that hill. That being said, there are some upcoming sets that I feel Scrap Chimera can still be reprinted in. Take, for example, Battles of Legends 21. Scrap Chimera, as well as a host of other cards in reprint season, can make quite a few decks budget, but we're not here to talk about the future, we're here to talk about budget decks right now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I will be attempting to atone for my sins. Since Scrap Chimera isn't budget, I'm gonna be giving you guys some budget strategies that you could play in the format right now. Now, as you guys know, or if somebody roped you into Yu-Gi-Oh, you're pretty close to finding out, Yu-Gi-Oh can be quite expensive. There are strategies that can cost upwards to $500 to $1,000 to play. I ain't gonna introduce you to none of that. I'm actually gonna be selecting a few strategies that can compete on a budget of around $100 to $150. I know this still may sound expensive to some of y'all, but if you wanna compete in Yu-Gi-Oh, this is really cheap, especially compared to Yu-Gi-Oh in the past. So of course, if you wanna see more content like this, then be sure to destroy that subscribe button, but also be sure to hit that notification bell because, well, we just stay strong. You thought I was gonna hit you with the too strong. Well, hey, you gotta be too strong, then you gotta stay strong. Now, Lightning Overdrive actually has its fair share of goodies inside of the set. I actually even made a video on strategies that have tons of potential from inside of that set. So if you want to check that out with no budget bound, then go ahead and click on that video. But a strategy that actually got some hidden support from that set, I also mentioned it has tons of potential, is Paleozoic. Now, Paleozoic is a trap-based Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that summons the monsters to the side of the field anytime a trap card is activated. These Paleozoic trap cards have some really cool effects like Paleozoic Dynamiscus being able to banish a card on your opponent's side of the field, and Paleozoic Canadia being able to flip an opponent's monster face down. But the cool thing about them is that they're level 2 aqua monsters, so your boss monster has to be one of the more powerful cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! And totally awesome. Now, money isn't the only reason why I think that Paleozoics are a great budget deck, but I mean, it's the driving force. But one of the cool things about Totally Awesome is that not only does it negate the activation of an opponent's card effect, it can set it to your side of the field. So those expensive cards that your opponent could be using, you can actually use yourself even if you don't own them. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, just because you can't afford the expensive card doesn't mean you can't play the expensive card. That's totally awesome. Paleozoic are an excellent grind deck, so if you are a player on a budget looking for a particular strategy that fits that particular need, well, Paleozoic just might be your guy. The most commonly played expensive card for the Paleozoic strategy is Totally Awesome. This card used to be $15 a copy, but thanks to Maximum Gold, you can get a gold rare copy of this card for about $4. That's really cheap, meaning that you can splurge out on some of the more expensive cards for this strategy like Ice Dragon's Prison or even Infinite Impermanence and still have pretty much the entirety of the deck to be able to spare. And you guys should already be expecting this joke, but that's totally awesome. Dude, get it? Because I'm TheCaliEffect and water, and some of you guys aren't going to get this joke, and that's okay. The next strategy is an utter force inside of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game and is considered as one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And there's not too many times the words one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! And budget ever come in the same sentence. Prank Kids are a bunch of young cards looking to buck that trend. It's a strategy based off of Link Summoning and Fusion Summoning. All 4 of your Prank Kids monsters, when Link Summoned or Fusion Summoned, allow you to either gain life points, inflict damage to your opponent, draw a card, or send a Prank Kids card from your deck to the graveyard to summon another one of their counterparts from your deck or hand to your side of the field. That gains some serious advantage by Link summoning into monsters like Doodle Doodle Doo and Prank Kids Bow Wow Bark, both both cards allowing you to get Prankits cards from your graveyard to your hand by tributing them, but does the most of its damage through its boss monster in Prankits Battle Butler. For the people that don't know exactly what Prankits Battle Butler does, this is a Raigeki on your opponent's turn. The Prankit strategy is easily one of the top contenders inside of this Yu-Gi-Oh card game because not only can it make Prankit's Battle Butler in one card, it also gets you some serious card economy along the way. The most expensive card for Prankits is Prankit's Place. It's your reinforcement of the army of the deck, so it's fairly important. You're going to need 3 copies. It is a $16 Yu-Gi-Oh card, and between that and Doodle Doodle Doo, you'll spend around $70 to $80 for the entire core. From there, you can go willy-nilly and splash in all types of hand traps, ranging from Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to Ghost Spell and Haunted Mansion. Put it all in that deck so you can Raigeki your opponent and stop them from whatever they're doing. No kidding, right? This deck's pretty good. Now, sometimes kids actually come in twos, and I think this particular strategy is really good. Live Twin is another strategy that featured on my video last week with so much potential, and this deck is going to live up in its billing as being a budget deck. The reason why I'm putting the Live Twin strategy in this video too is because it's just so malleable. You can play Live Twins with Paleozoic as mentioned before, but you can also play it with a plethora of other strategies such as Outlich and Unchained. You can play it with Dogmatica. Basically, this strategy's engine is so malleable, you can play it in almost anything, but a pure variant will work for budget. How this particular strategy works is that you have Live Twin, Leela, and Kisa Kill. They allow you to special summon the opposite counterpart to their side of the field, making Evil Twin Leela and Kisa Kill, which can allow you to draw a card when it's summoned when the opposite counterpart is on the field, or destroy a card on the field. This deck is built on being able to generate advantage through these monsters' effects, but the cool thing about it is that since their link arrows point left and right, you can special summon monsters like Nightmare Unicorn, which is popularly played in his Yu-Gi-Oh card game, get rid of a card on the field, and since it's co-linked, you can draw a card. Live Twin is also another one of those strategies within one card. You can perform pretty much this entire combo, so the rest of your cards in your hand can be for, well, whatever. The most expensive card for the Live Twin strategy is Evil Twin Kisa Kill. It is a $14 Yu-Gi-Oh card. You're going to need 3 copies, and then it's his counterpart in Evil Twin Leela, which is about $12 each as well. You're going to need at least 2 copies of each, but other than that, everything else is cheap. I mean, it really depends on what you want to play. The thing that I love about this strategy is that it gives you options, and in a world where money pretty much dictates the amount of options that you have, I really like how this strategy can buck that trend. You can say it's pretty live. That's what the cool kids say. Okay, the cool kids might not say that. I say it, I'm cool, right? 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 Now, another deck that has seen a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh success, especially in the last format, is the Virtual World strategy. A lot of players sleep on Virtual World because of the banning of True King of All Calamities. This deck is no longer hurt, dirt, negate all your opponent's monsters, but it's a very strong grind deck. Virtual World is built off of sending corresponding Virtual World cards, monster, spell, or trap, from your deck to the graveyard to be able to summon themselves to the side of the field as a special summon. I don't know about you, but anytime a deck has like, I don't know, 15 Foolish Burials, you might want to pay heed to it. One of the main strengths of Virtual World is that it can out almost any particular situation through its extra deck because it can toolbox monsters like Vermilion Mech to the side of the field, but can also XE summon into monsters like Batalmi M7. As long as Synchro 9s, Synchro 6s, as well as XE 3s and 6s get printed, yeah, this deck will be good. This deck's main boss monster in Virtual World QB Shinshin is a Macrocosmos. Any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. That's really good, but it can also bring itself back from the graveyard to the side of the field, so even if they get rid of it, it's coming back next turn. And the best thing about this is that this deck is extremely cheap. The most expensive card for the Virtual World strategy is Virtual World Lulu. You need 3 copies, but it's only $10 a card. This means right off the bat, if you do have that $150 budget, you could possibly be able to afford cards like Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, but even if you can't, those hand traps will still be invaluable to this strategy. And the last strategy I want to bring to you guys' attention doesn't get enough love. Players always say that I snub this off the list, but it is a very powerful Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Grin Maji is the one-hitter quitter, boy. This is the deck if you don't like playing fast Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Now this isn't necessarily a strategy, but Grin Maji is a card that says it gains 400 attack for every card banished, and there's a way to banish a lot of cards in this Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Cards like Pot of Desires are not only printed as a rare inside of Tomb Chaos, it allows you to banish 10 cards to draw 2. Immediately, Grin Maji was 4,000 attack. And even if you needed a little bit more monster presence, Eater of Millions allows you to banish 5 cards from your extra deck to summon itself to the side of the field, and can banish any monster it battles, as well as Gizmek Orochi, allowing you to banish 8 cards off the top of your deck to summon itself to the side of the field. Now this is a pretty strong Grin Maji, isn't it? Grin Maji can also play some really cool anti-meta cards like Dimension Shifter because free banish? That's all I read from this card. I really like how this deck is extremely cheap. If you decide to go the Danger Grin Maji route, then the most expensive card for Grin Maji is Danger Bigfoot. You're gonna need 2 to 3 copies of this card, and it's about $15 a piece. But if you don't decide to go the Danger route, well, I mean, I guess your opponent's in danger because there's no expensive card in here. Well, that is all that I have for some top budget decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Of course, I want you to post down below in the comment section what are some strategies that you feel that I missed. If somebody doesn't like the strategies that I've already mentioned, then you possibly can help them out, which means more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Who doesn't want that? Also, be sure to check out these other 2 videos as I'll catch you on the next one.